Welcome back everyone, Oz here. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
AskReddit, what are some dark secrets about grocery stores? I worked at a chain grocery store years ago. We had this awful smell down one particular aisle. The manager never wanted to investigate and would just say something must have spilled. She even went as far as to hang air fresheners on the shelves to mask the smell. Several years later, the store underwent a remodel where the aisles were moved. They found a giant rat's nest under the shelving unit of this particular aisle. It was one of the most disgusting things ever. Once they cleaned it out, the smell finally resolved. What did it smell like? Almost like a rotting meat mixed with stale animal urine. It would get caught in the back of your throat and just linger. Surprisingly, we rarely got any customer complaints regarding the smell. I worked at a health food grocery in Florida when I was in college. About 90% of the money the store made was from supplements, not food. The food was to get people to come in and do all their shopping at one place. Also, we had a semi-secret cash-only product in the back office that was a drink to help you pass drug tests. No idea what was in it, but I sold at least 20 bottles per week. My buddy works at one and he says it's crazy how often giant spiders come out of banana boxes. Ugh. The only thing that washes a shopping cart is rain. We do haul trash bags in them. Oftentimes the customer trash cans are just mixed because the janitor sure as hell isn't digging out that bottle you threw in the compost. Everything just goes in the dumpster. Most of the time the rewards cards did nothing at the chain I worked at. Grocery store managers are very prone to being bribed by businesses when it comes to slot space. I was talking with a coworker at a part-time furniture store job I had a few years back. Guy was retired and used to manage grocery stores. I asked him about it and he starts talking about all the free shit he got from Coke, Pepsi, Nestle, all sorts of big companies. They would offer him free Falcons tickets, flights to resorts all over the place, etc. Why? Because when they offered him this stuff, he gave them more space on the shelves. Coke wants 5 feet more of shelf space? Sure thing, just send me some tickets to see the Eagles next Saturday. He had a laundry list of that these companies gave him for better slot space. Even when companies started cracking down on it, they just send the gifts to his family. My girlfriend's dad owned a grocery store. He got a jet ski from one of his vendors. Yeah, and when you're the owner, that's perfectly fine. It's your call as to whether the shelf space was worth more to you than a jet ski or not. When you are just the manager though, it's ethically murky. Apples can be stored in proper conditions for close to a year and still be sold at the supermarket. So that apple you're buying in May is most likely from sometime the year prior. I'm a produce manager and I can tell you with 100% certainty that I have gotten apples shipped to me that were in storage for almost 2 years. There's nothing wrong with this at all. In fact, since colonial times, the standard way to preserve apples was to put them in a barrel and sink the barrel in a river. Next spring, they'd be perfectly fresh. Apples are actually kind of a wonder fruit. Huh, I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Worked as a night stock checker at Kroger, and the #1 stolen thing was meat. Every night, all over the store, you would find open packages of meat hidden everywhere or just chucked under the shelves. And to the point above about the animals, don't ever look or get under the shelves. Anything under should be considered lost forever. Trust me. I did service desk, and the meat and cheese returns angered me the most. Those big strips of pork ribs or brisket are easy to slide under a coat or pants. They ring in at just under $20, so people know you have to take them back. I heard every iteration of, "Oh, we didn't need it, but it's still cold." Even so, it's going in the trash. At least the batteries or cosmetics I can just put back on the shelf. There's actually this whole community of people who shoplift for fun on Tumblr. Maybe I should look into that. This lady tried to grab a can that rolled under the shelves, and I grabbed her wrist before she could reach under. Just shook my head and told her it was gone and handed her a new one. It's really amazing all the shit that goes under there every week. It belongs to the rodents now. I work in a retail bakery. We don't make anything from scratch. Everything comes in frozen. We just bake it or thaw them out before putting them on their shelves. Cakes are pre-made, we just put icing and decorations. Lots of our customers don't like that our products are kept in the freezer. I worked at a retail bakery as well. I can confirm this. I was so disappointed to find out. I thought I was going to learn how to bake. Funny thing was, we had a big mixer out in the front in view of the customers, but we never used it. We waste a lot of food. Quality inspectors at grocery warehouses tear open bags, cut open fruits and vegetables, and stick thermometers in meat and chicken. That all gets thrown away. When the meat products especially are above a certain temperature, they get discarded too. I was once responsible for getting rid of over $100,000 worth of meat due to temperature. Made the warehouse discard $10,000 worth of strawberries that went moldy in the warehouse. Didn't even get to the store. Worked in a store during the 2003 blackout. Millions chucked because we couldn't keep the backup generators going long enough. The dudes in the meat department always have drugs. My boyfriend used to be a meat man, and this is so accurate. They usually are funny as hell too. This is more of a dark secret of store waste, but a good deal of grocery stores, not all, have to throw out bulk if you put it into the bags but don't buy it. Like if you scoop some gummy bears into a bag, for example, and get to the till and say you don't want it now, it gets thrown out because it could have been tampered with. Same goes for fresh meat. If you walk out the front door, even if you immediately turn around and come back in and return it, we have to throw it out. Also, any form of pharmacy product that is consumed, vitamins for example, or used for healing wounds, think Neosporin and the like, gets thrown out because it could have been tampered with, if you return it. And just to make it clear, I'm talking about the stuff that is sealed on return. No store will put any of this back on the shelf if they are opened. Well, no non-shady store at least. My first job was working at a grocery store. A few weeks before a planned ad launch, the stock team would reprice the items in the ads and mark them up. So the sales price was only a few cents less than the original non-sale price. They do this in advance and cycle through the store, marking up items before they went on sale. Then, shortly after the sale went off, the prices would be lowered again. They had a specific night a week where the stock team would stay overnight to reprice everything. If you ask an employee to check in the back for a product, 9 out of 10 times, they will just walk back there, wait a couple of minutes, and walk back out to tell you they don't have any more. So this isn't technically about the grocery store itself, but still relevant. My first ever job was a bagger in a grocery store when I was 15. To work in this store, however, I had to be a part of the union in order to work there. Working in said union included a monthly fee as my union dues. After 6 months, they started cutting my hours more and more each week, until finally, they cut my hours completely for 4 months. After that time, I got a bill in the mail for $150 of unpaid union dues. I called the office and tried to reason with them, saying that I was a 15-year-old in high school and this was my only income. They responded and said that it didn't matter and I still had to pay the dues. I asked if they would pursue the bill if I quit, and they said no. I called the grocery store the next day and quit, without notice. Also, one of my responsibilities was to help people to their car and load groceries in their car if they wanted. I wasn't allowed to accept tips. One time around Christmas, this guy bought $700 worth of grocery and helped load them into his car. He came back and tried to give me a $50 tip in front of my manager, and walked away after I said I couldn't accept it. My manager took it since I'm not allowed to accept tips. She acted like she was going to put it in the register, but she pocketed it. Most big chain supermarkets have really shoddy buying practices. The big one is for anything that is prone to spoilage. They'll leave it to sit at the warehouse until it starts to rot, then claim spoilage and negotiate for cheaper prices. The growers have no choice but to accept the lower price, and the store pays 16-year-olds minimum wage to go through all of the produce and remove the rotten ones. Rotten tomatoes are foul. I have worked in grocery stores for about 18 years, with 10 of them being in management. There are too many to list, so I will give a couple. I would say 95 to 98% of customer complaints just get ignored. Almost every time, someone will just give you your money back, so you come back and spend more money. When you say you will never come back, we don't believe you. Most grocery stores have a net profit of about 2 to 3%. The really good ones can get up to around 10%, although rare. Just think about that. There is a reason you don't see enough registers open when you shop. Labor is the #1 controllable expense. I personally never use self-check because they are taking a job away from another person. Plus, they break down easily and I have to fix them too many times. There is a reason why things are in specific places in most stores, like fresh produce right when you walk in or dairy all the way in the back corner of the store. Ever wonder why sugary kids cereals are on the bottom shelves? It's so kids see them. There are so many tricks grocery stores use to get you to buy more items. This isn't even the tip of the iceberg. If you have time, would you like to continue? There isn't even enough time in the day. There are so many. But a few more for today will hopefully suffice. First off, every grocery store in existence has some kind of animal presence in the store. It may be roaches, mice, or just flies. Just because you don't see them doesn't mean they aren't there. Yes, the good ones do everything they can to minimize it, but can't. Prepared items are going to cost you more. This may seem like common sense, but trust me, it isn't. If you buy pre-washed and cut produce, it costs more for you to buy because of the work it took to cut and the new packaging it is in. That also increases the profit that the store makes, because they are in it to make money, same as prepared meats. If you buy a 32 pack of water as opposed to a 24 pack, the store profits less on the 32 pack because it's sacrificing some of the profit for the higher sale. So, if you don't want stores to profit off you as much as they can, buy the bigger packages if you can. These are generalizations, they are true most of the time, but there are always exceptions. When you said animal presence, I had a vision of grocery stores with golden retrievers waiting to help me with my bags. Thank you for watching. If you want to see an Ask Reddit related to the nostalgia of Minecraft, then click the end screen card right here. But if you want to see more of my content, then maybe consider clicking on the Ask Reddit playlist or checking out the recommended video for you above. And until next time, I'll see y'all later.